Yes.
Excellent, thank you. We forgot to do that last time.
Christina gets a
Thank you
gold
so much.
star.
Yes. All right. So just a quick thank you to our class reps who have gotten families together for beginning of the year gatherings, and also for we have volunteers that have already signed up for our homecoming on Friday. So I just want to thank those folks in advance. And speaking of homecoming, I'm going to go ahead and hand off to Tanis to talk about homecoming because our homecoming coordinator could not be here tonight.
Yes. This Friday is homecoming. I'm super excited. I have been super energized by driving up and seeing everybody dressed up and big smiles. My kids are involved, so it's really exciting. I did put a link in the chat room. We still need a few people to sign up for a few of the obstacle course. Oh, someone else needs to come in. Obstacle course, a few of the blow ups that the kids, the jumping castles and stuff. And then also we really would appreciate it if anyone in here could let us use your tent, or what do we call it? Pop-up tent, right? For the evening. So it's afternoon, evening. In the afternoon, it's quite hot. So I think we have 8 people on the list. It shows right now. So we need about 8 more. So does anyone in this meeting have one at home they'd be willing to drop off tomorrow or Friday morning?
Tanis, I'm bringing mine probably Friday morning.
Awesome. Thank you. Anyone else?
I saw somebody in
Looks
the
like there's
chat
a
pop
hand
up.
there. Yeah. Is that Michaela, or am I saying that right?
Nishla.
Yeah.
Nishla, sorry.
Nishla, thank you.
I have on. I have one. I can type and hit enter.
One is great. Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate it.
And Sally, thank you.
Sally too. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. We officially start at 4 o'clock. I know the kids get out of school 3:35, and this year we don't have any flag football games or anything that start right after school. So I imagine the bell will ring and then they'll rush over and start buying tickets. But it officially starts at 4. We have a volleyball game in the gym around 5. Starts at 5, but you can go in there earlier. And then at 6 o'clock under the lights, there's a soccer game. And then it officially ends at 8 o'clock. So we did have a few spots for cleanup as well. So if anyone's interested in doing any of that, please, the link is in the chat. Hit the sign up genius. That would be great. Any questions?
And I would also, I just wanted to encourage folks that even if you do not sign up to volunteer, please come, please attend and enjoy it with your kids. And I do see a question there. What is the plan if it begins to rain?
Ooh.
I would say the plan is to believe the rain when we get wet, because I don't believe it until I see it here. But I would also say,
rain.
Exactly, it'll be a rain or shine type of event.
Yeah. Any questions, you can email the FAA or reach out to one of us. We're happy to answer any questions that you have about just attending or volunteering. It's a great event if you're new, to meet other parents, get your kids kind of hanging out with kids outside of school. It's a fun event. So.
And one last note on that is also, if you have middle schoolers, please make sure that there's an adult present with them. That's one thing that we ask you to do, is not let your middle schoolers run around without someone on campus as their adult supervisor. So we also have a brand new event scheduled next month just for adults, and we're going to have Margaret talk about that.
Yeah, the FA is very happy to offer a brand new community event. This is an adult event. It's for parents and caregivers. We're calling them, this is the first of what we hope will be many, and we're calling them Parent Experience Nights. Our first one is called Mocktails and Masterpieces. James is excited because James and his lovely wife, Jennifer, will be our guest bartenders at the Mocktail Bar. This event will be we'll have 2 components. We'll have a kind of social time, where parents can get together, can chat, can enjoy James and Jennifer's amazing mocktails. We'll have a little bit of light fare served. And so this will just be kind of a social hour, except that it'll probably be less than an hour. But So we'll have some social time, and then we will have 3 hands-on art workshops that will be led by 3 of our arts faculty in different media. We'll have the descriptions of the projects available when we send out the announcement, but it's going to be Miss Carlson, Mr. Crone, and Mr. Boulay. So they're having 3 very different projects, and you will register ahead of time for the one that you want. And that will be the evening. So you'll come, socialize, have a bite to eat, and then you'll go to one of these workshops where you will create a piece of art together with your parent, friends, and colleagues, and get to experience some of the wonderful expertise that we have on our campus. And like I said, this is the first of what we hope will be many. So we have other ideas other than art. We have other kinds of projects and things that we want to do. So if this is successful and people like it, we are hoping to offer other parent experience nights as we go forward. So save the date. It is November 13th. That's a Thursday. And it'll start at 6 p.m. on campus. That's all I have.
Okay, great.
Quick
Yeah, and
questions? Or
space,
I know we
I
went
was going
too
to say
moving.
space will be limited, so watch for that email. We're planning to send something out next week for folks to get the details and the sign up link. Does anybody have any questions on that?
Okay. Back to you, Cal.
All right. Well, last but definitely not least, we have another event coming up in November, and that is going to be Farmers Market. So I am going to hand that off to our Farmers Market coordinators. I know Michelle is on here, and I'm not sure about Sabrina, but I believe you both were going to be on here, so I'm going to let you guys take that.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sabrina. I've been co-chairing this event for the last few years, and it's a really awesome event. It's a pretty unique one, too. Everyone I talk to who has kids in other schools, when they hear about it, they're just amazed. Anyway, it's an incredible event. For anyone who doesn't know about it, we take donations from families of food and other items, and then we set up a really wonderful farmers market so that all of the teachers and staff can come and shop for free for their own families for the Thanksgiving holiday. And it's a wonderful way to show our appreciation for the incredible teachers and staff that we have in the school. And parents are usually very generous. We usually have a bounteous spread. So it's a lot of fun. And one of the things we had discussed last year was that if anyone wants advance access to the sign-up sheets, you can let someone on the FA committee know, and they'll let me know, or we'll handle it however it gets handled. But that way, if you are really interested in participating, volunteering, or you have something special you want to donate, you'll have the chance to do that and have first dibs at the sign-up sheets. So we'll be sending those sign-up sheets out, I think, in the next few weeks. Yeah, it's a wonderful event. Michelle, is there anything you wanted to add?
Typically, the farmers market would take place that Wednesday before that Tuesday before Thanksgiving. But there has been a change in that schedule, and so we're going to be holding it that Friday before that week off for Thanksgiving. And so we don't think there will be much of a change in what it is that we're asking for. It's still a great way to share the spirit of gratitude with our wonderful teachers and administrative staff. So we figure we'll kind of still have the same types of asks and maybe encourage, if you want to have your pie for Thanksgiving, maybe freeze it, but it's okay to eat pie that week leading up to Thanksgiving. I don't see any issue with that. So, but yeah, we will most likely be sending out an email to all of the faculty and administrative staff who might not get a chance to break away for that morning. So that way we can prep their goodie bag, and that way they're not missing out on 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 the bounty. And so we really appreciate what people do. It's so much fun just to come and visit, drop off is always a great time. People are just in a great spirit of giving thanks and community. And so it's really such a great time to get to know one another. And so we encourage you spending some time with us. We would certainly love your help. We'll have some before and after shifts. Um, but yeah, if you have questions, please let us know. Or if you have any
Question
suggestions,
in the chat room. There's a question in the chat room that says, is it only for food?
No.
actually, there are some goodies that are available for centerpieces. A lot of times we have other great thank you gift opportunities, sometimes gift cards. I know there are some classes that will actually have certain art projects that, you know, faculty or administrative staff can take with them. So it's really whatever. If you feel you want to share, I know Miss Bialis and her students usually make this wonderful bounty of candy delights. So it really is for whatever you feel like might be a good way to express that gratitude to this amazing community who helps take care of our wonderful students.
One more
And
question.
we do also accept monetary donations. And in the past, what we've done is Michelle and I, the day before the market, we make a trip to World Market and we buy candles and teas and coffees and gift items. So monetary donations are happily accepted as well, and they will provide some fun gifts if you don't have the time to do that shopping yourself.
There was one more question. It says all the teachers get the same or they get to choose. And then
So they'll
also,
get to
let's not
choose.
forget that it's for all of our staff, including our
Yes.
physical plant folks and our security are
Yep.
also.
Exactly.
And they get to come and choose themselves. And as Michelle mentioned, last year we had the idea to have a couple of the parent volunteers took on the role to be personal shoppers for faculty and staff who were busy all day and weren't able to come to the market. And so Michelle had the great idea of having a little shopping list that they could, like, oh, I really need tomatoes, or whatever. And so we had a couple of parent volunteers who went around and did some personal shopping for those faculty and staff members, and it was great. So nobody misses out.
Yeah, and you'll get to choose, or the faculty and administrative staff will get to choose what they'd like, and that way they're not getting anything they're not interested in.
And I would also just add to that question of, is it only for food? We have had parents who make dog cookies and other special handmade treats. And teachers love that. So because teachers have dogs, or they like soaps that somebody makes. And so if you have something that you actually like to make at home, handmade, feel free to bring something like that. It doesn't have to be something that's specific on our list because that fits under that category of gifts. So feel free to participate in that way as well.
Yeah. Yeah, those kind of gifts are extra special. And I should also note that when we have leftovers, which we almost always do, the last couple of years, we've taken a big donation of leftover food down to Pio Decimo and made the donation in the school's name. So nothing will go to waste.
Thank you. So that will be Friday, November 21st. If anybody missed that, that will be the last Friday of school before the Thanksgiving holiday. And that's also the same day that the school will have the Friends and Family Day or Grandparents' Day, which will involve parents. So, somebody asked, do you know the time? Do you guys want to talk about that?
We usually start pretty much right in the morning, and we have parent volunteers who come, before school to help us with setup and that sort of thing. And then we run until about lunchtime, I think, usually. And then we have some parents who help us with cleanup.
Yeah, so
Right.
pretty much drop off times. I know I believe we were out there as early as like 7:30 last year, and typically we're through, I want to say 11:30 or noon. Joyce will make a last call for all the faculty and administrative staff, but typically I want to say we've been there until about 11:30 or noon.
And I think the goal over the last couple of years has been to start at 8 o'clock so that staff and faculty that can't come after the bell get the chance to shop in the morning before they have to go off to class. And even though that's a half day and there are different explorations that day, people still have their obligations, so they want that extra time in the morning.
Yep.
Yes, it is early release. All right. So if you have any other questions about that, feel free to email us, and then watch for the sign up and more information coming out in the next few weeks. Iris, I see your hand up.
Yes, hi, good evening, everybody. Good afternoon. Hi. Yeah, I just wanted to let you know that we are planning on doing the same donation that we did last year with
Oh, that's
for
amazing.
fresh produce, organic produce for the teachers. Because I remember last year there was also a list with some vegetables, so maybe we can
Absolutely.
add to that. And sorry, I joined the meeting late, but I wanted to let you know that that's still in the plan.
Thank you so much, Iris. I actually have a note in my notes to email you in the next week or so to find out plans. So I will get in touch with you and we'll figure it out. Yeah. Thank you so
Sounds good.
much.
Thank you. Our pleasure.
Great. Thank you, Iris. All right. So any other questions, feel free to email us. And then, of course, we'll be sending out more information soon. So with all of these events announced, anything that you think you might have missed, any details, any questions, always feel free to email us. I don't want to delay passing over to our guests this evening, so I want to thank everybody for sharing information on the events. And I'm going to, right before we hand off to Ms. Jacobs, I am going to give the floor to Mr. Foreman to say a few words.
And I will be brief, Kelly, and thank you to everyone in the executive committee for planning a very thoughtful meeting, and thank you for everyone for your attendance. I know that stealing some time away in the evening can be tough, so I really appreciate the robust attendance that we have here. So I just have a brief, I guess, sequence of events. One, I'm going to do a Quentin Tarantino here and start at the end and then work my way to the beginning. I can't tell you how gratifying it is to hear about the farmers market. I signed my contract probably November 18th, but it was publicized November 21st. And Jennifer and I took note of the farmers market. And we said, if this is a fiber of the school community we're going to, we've made the right choice. One, we do Friendsgiving every year, so you're helping us out with all these people flying into where we live. But no, two, the spirit of community. And I don't say that haphazardly. I don't say that just as a point of segueing from one thing to the next. Every bit of what y'all have articulated, from the leadership of the farmers market to the engagement, Iris, to the family commitment. I mean, y'all, way to go. And I just thank you. It embodies all of what I'm talking to students about, which segues actually into what I wanted to talk about, which is what's happened since the first day of school. And then I'll appropriately lead into Allycyn. So at Convocation, I don't believe I had a chance to speak about this in our first meeting. At Convocation, each one of your children were asked to be goal-oriented dreamers. I asked them to every day, every week, every month, to think about those dreams and to set tangible goals in pursuit of those dreams. And those dreams can change from one year to the next year. But the fact that they are actively pursuing something that is of their own interest and of their passions is something that I would like to see out of each and every one of our students. And I have seen since the kickoff of our school year in August. So I just want to applaud your children, our students, for how they have gravitated to that message and have truly marked every day as an opportunity. It is truly gratifying to see our kiddos truly put one foot in front of the other and think about themselves, but also a part of what I asked them is if you're dreaming, that means the person next to you is. So don't knock somebody else's dream. Support them, elevate them. What can you do to provide the catalyst that they need to be successful? So I think we have a great camaraderie on campus. Things feel absolutely phenomenal. That just segues to all school meeting. All school meeting, and I know I referenced this even though y'all didn't know I wrote the article. The all school meeting portion of the article that came out in the newsletter was authored very intentionally so that you were able to get a bit of a snapshot into what we do every Monday at 9:55 as we gather as an entire school community to set the stage for the week. We like to focus in on the 6 C's as anchors for the conversations that we are going to have that then find themselves in advisory conversations, which is a community within a community where they can unpack and have even more dialogue about the bigger topics that we're talking about in an all-school meeting. So I know Allison's on here, Beth is not, but I want to thank Allison and Beth as our division heads of truly taking the messaging that comes from us as an administrative team and finding ways for our kiddos to tangibly take hold to each one of these messages in their own way in their grade levels. As you know, I had some friends visit, and I'm not talking about my mother-in-law 2 weeks ago. I'm referencing our ISAS friends, our 15 friends who came for the reaccreditation visit, and family things went extremely well. We are going to be reaccredited without a shadow of a doubt. I thank you for all of those who participated in any way, shape, or form with regards to our friends who visited and sharing your insights and your expertise with regards to what's happening on campus. Thank you for that shout out, Tara. I appreciate that. So we're in a very good place and we will continue to march forward. So you know, the visiting team report will be approved in February and it should be back to us soon thereafter. Soon thereafter, I will be working with my friends in the Board of Trustees to create a strategic plan that clearly outlines how we are moving forward with regards to some of those recommendations. Of course, celebrating the commendations that are set forth by that team. And some of the things, just so you know, that were commented upon were our student climate, the way that students feel very comfortable in our environment, they can show up as their authentic self, the level of student engagement with our teachers, relationships were applauded left and right. Also, what was applauded was just the fact that our kiddos literally love being there. That as these faculty members, administrators walked around our campus and poked around, they felt a clear sense of students wanting to be in the school environment in an appropriate bubble that they were in, given the outside world, right? That they were having dialogue, discourse, they were collaborating. There wasn't a sense of contentiousness when folks worked with one another. I could keep going, but the fact of the matter is, and you'll be able to read it a lot more clearly than my jumbled speech at this evening, is that we did a phenomenal job in our community, excuse the vernacular I share with your kids, showed up and showed out in the most appropriate way. So I commended our students at the all-school meeting, and I wanted to make sure as their parents that you heard that as well. Second to last, Spirit Week, as has already been commented. Energy on campus, y'all. Here's the thing, parents. You know you can participate and you can wear your PJs, okay? You can go country versus country club. You can go wacky hair tomorrow or blackout. Like, come on now. You can participate as well. Thank you for encouraging your students to represent, for lack of better words. There's been a great feeling on campus. The hawk hunt is something I am envious of, and I wish I had time in my schedule to find that little devil. Because I want the I want the prize from Miss Perillo more than the kids do. But that's something that's real neat. Another student-led initiative that you might not hear about is the 3v3 tournament, led by some of our upper school students. It's just another way for student engagement. For kiddos to know that there are other ways to engage, celebrate, be proud of your school community. And we're creating those opportunities, and it's great to see the kiddos show up for that. Last but not least, I want to segue to what's happening behind the curtain because I love these opportunities when we can tell you what we've been working on. As parent partners, you need to know that feedback is a critical point for us to improve program. And I inherited some of the feedback that came from Friday Explorations. And the person who has been owning a lot of the feedback and ideations and creations and prototypes and collaborations is Allycyn Jacobs in partnership with Beth Kane. Our division heads have done a phenomenal job of taking the student and faculty feedback and immediately applying that and giving the resources to make this experience better. Experiential education is a key component of Dewey's principles of progressive education, right? Breaking down the traditional four walls and tapping into students' intrinsic motivation and creating ways for them to develop life lessons that, of course, have content, knowledge, and skill acquisition, but allow them to think outside of the box, for lack of better words. And Friday Explorations is just that. And I want to applaud Allycyn Jacobs with her partnership, and she will speak more to this with our technology folks who are truly the people behind the curtain of creating this platform that allows not only for registration, but for observation, but for appropriate and intentional course registration as it relates to our our Friday Explorations. So Allycyn, I will pass the floor to you. I want to thank all the parents who submitted questions that allowed Allycyn to build her presentation specifically specifically to the things that you were wondering and inquiring about. And as we teeter on this evening, Allycyn, I know that you'll give a great presentation that allows us to close our computers and call it a night. So after you.
Thank you, James. Thanks for having me again tonight. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. Okay. I vaguely remember doing this last October, I think on Zoom. And we talked about Friday explorations, and some of you have grown with this program as I have for the last 11 years. And some of you are new to the program. So the information I share with you tonight is new. And it's exciting because we have been working behind the scenes with a consultant that has created a computer program that can grow with us. In fact, it grows daily. I put together my presentation last week and I had to go seek out a student 2 days ago because something had changed on the student dashboard and I needed new screenshots. So it's amazing what our consultant is doing. Another person who's key in this technology piece of Friday Explorations is Dr. Freslone. And of course, Mr. Hendrickson, Andre Hendrickson, our director of technology. The three of us work with the consultant, and then Beth Kane gives us a lot of support. So if I can share my screen and hopefully find my presentation. There we go. I just need to fix it so I can see it. Okay. So this is our explorations update and a little bit of a glimpse into the new portal, which some of you have already experienced with your student. There we go. What I want to go through is what the student sees when they go into the exploration portal, how you can actually browse the explorations before sign up. That is something new that happened just about a week and a half ago. How the students sign up, what's happening with exploration attendance, and then a sneak peek of even something more exciting that's to come. And then, of course, if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat. It'd be great to, you can directly email me any questions you might have also. So the exploration portal is housed now through the Power School, but when students go into explorations, it stops looking like Power School and they open up to this dashboard, which is a new piece that just got created just days ago. And so students, when they open up to this dashboard, can see where their signups are, see what their explorations are for the week, track attendance, and even make some requests. So it looks a little bit more like this. This is a dashboard. I had one of our students show me what their attendance looked like for explorations. So they can actually track how many explorations they've been in, how many they've attended, and what percentage they are at. The attendance dates right now are not quite correct. It's something our consultant's working on, but we're going to have all that data accurate before we report out in just a few weeks. A student can also see what explorations they are signed up for. So they just click on this button, My Explorations, and they can see what they're signed up for each week. If they're signed up for what we call a multi-session exploration, those last either 4 weeks, 3 weeks, it'll show the date range of those multi-session explorations. If they're signed up for a singleton explorations, which happen in the afternoon, E3 and E4, it will show that. This is actually an interesting screenshot because this is before students were assigned an official exploration. So what this is showing is this student picked 3 different explorations and ranked them, and we'll go through that in a little bit. But importantly, students can now browse explorations ahead of time. So what we do is we open up explorations about 3 or 4 days ahead of our sign up date. And we announce that to students. So we did that this time in an all school meeting and showed them how to go in and browse explorations. I'll give a shout out to Margaret. She screenshotted this to her TV at home and they browse the explorations as a family. So thanks, Margaret, for trying it out for us. You can go through and select the date of the explorations. Students can select which exploration session they're looking at and see what's for them. So this will be tailored to your student. So if your student is a 5th grader, they will only see the explorations for 5th grade. If your student is upper schooler, same thing, only the explorations for upper school. So it's very easy now for students to see explorations. They will not see explorations months out. They will just see the explorations that we are about to sign up for. We sign up for explorations a total of 5 or 6 times a year. We group them in groups of 4 week exploration. So right now, this last sign-up session, students signed up for explorations that are starting this Friday and lasting us through November. When a student signs up, they end up in a window here, and they just very easily go to the action and sign up. If they sign up for a multi-session exploration, those are our E1s and E2s. I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. And then they see how many other explorations they need to sign up for. If for some reason a student is already assigned to an exploration, which is rare, but for instance, this Friday, we have a pep rally during E4. Once the portal works its magic, the pep rally will show up right here on the student's exploration, so they know they don't have to sign up for that time. So it makes it very easy. When a student signs up for a multi-session exploration, we ask the student to rank their explorations for their top 3 choices. So they go through and each one click which exploration they want as their top choice, their second choice, and their third choice. This is where then the computer works a little bit of magic with help of Dr. Frezelone behind the scenes. And there's an algorithm that's been put together to randomly, random isn't really the right word, but to grab a random group of students and put them into their first choice exploration. Then it stops and it grabs another random groups of students and puts them into their first choice of exploration. And it does this until it runs out of those spots in those first choices. This works really well if, let's say, an exploration is open for 15 students and 14 students want it. Very easy. Those 14 students have their first choice. Every once in a while, we run into an exploration. Let's say one of our most popular explorations is called Chemistry of Cooking, where the exploration is open to 15 students and 75 want in. So that's where that randomness of groupings goes for that first choice exploration. If the student doesn't get its first choice, then as the algorithm works its magic, it'll be looking at second choices. There is a possibility a student will get a third choice. There's also, unfortunately, a possibility that the student has chosen 3 explorations that become full. And at that point in time, that's where communication is the key. Dr. Frezelone and I sit down and we look at all the students who might not have been placed in one of their choices of explorations, and we reach out to them. We talk to them about their other choices, and we make sure that we haven't reached out to them too often. So we're hoping that those students have a chance, of course, to get their first choice exploration. We're hoping we're not reaching out to those same students every 4 weeks to say, oops, you didn't make it. So we do our best to really satisfy what the student's choice is, because that's what we're looking for is what their passions are in explorations.
We have a few questions.
Yeah.
Can you please let parents know when we can browse? So far, that info hasn't made it home via the student.
Yep. We can certainly let parents know when they can browse, and we'll figure out how to do that. The timing is always a little tricky, and this time the browsing didn't happen until those teachers had put in the exploration. So we can do that for the next round.
Another question is, how many spots are available in an exploration?
That really matters. I mean, some of it's due to space, some of it's due to supplies. If, let's say, we have a hiking exploration going this next round, that's due to space in a van, right? They can have one van, so they can take 10 students to go hiking for an E1 or an E2. Chemistry of Cooking, I could see probably 15 to 18 students. Most of our exploration range between 12 and 15, but it just really matters the exploration. Any other questions there, Tanis?
That's it
Okay.
for now.
Okay.
Wait, one more. As the algorithm is working, what about students who really need to be in math lab, or choir students who need to practice for barbershop quartet?
So hopefully those students have put that in their first choice. And so let's take the choir, the barbershop quartet example that you just gave, Tanis. If Dr. Frezelone is running a choir shop or barbershop quartet, and he knows that he wants to open it to, let's say, he knows there's 12 students who want to take it, he will probably open it to about 20 students so he can get some extras that might be interested in joining, who maybe have never been in that barbershop quartet and want to give it a try. But what he's hopefully done is communicated with those other 12 students and said, listen, if you want this, you need to put it as your first choice. And then that algorithm will put them in. That was something that was improved since our very first round. There was a little bit of a glitch that happened on our first round, but it was something we went right back to the consultant that said, oh, we need help with this. For those explorations that we call singleton explorations, so explorations that only run once, these are first come, first serve. And this was feedback we got from our students, because last year we actually had students rank all their explorations, and they got a little frustrated with the singleton explorations, and they really wanted a chance to try a lot of different things. And they told us, they said, we would rather it be first come, first serve. You know, if I try to get in, and if I can't get in, I'm going to choose something else. So that's what happens with E3s and E4s. They go to to sign up, they click on the exploration, they get a description of that exploration so they can see it again if they haven't already seen it, and they'll click enroll. If the exploration's already full, it will give them a message of that, and they'll try for another exploration. If they go down the list, here's where communication is key again. If they go down the list and the last exploration they see, and they're a fifth grader, and the last exploration they see is advanced geometry, then they should not choose it. That's when they need to stop, tell their advisor, oh, I'm not so sure there's an exploration for me. And their advisor communicates with myself, with Ms. Kane and Dr. Fresalone. And that's when we then communicate with the teachers and we say, oh, we need some more spots. We need some more open explorations. Let's talk to our students about what they want. And it usually works out really well. We'll get a couple teachers who will add a few more seats to those explorations, and we get them put in.
Okay, another question. To browse, do we log into PowerSchool in the parent account, or do we need to log in as the student?
Okay, so I'm trying to think. When you go into PowerSchool as a parent, I haven't been a parent on PowerSchool in a long time, so bear with me a minute. When you go into PowerSchool as a parent, there should be a menu on the left side that says Friday Explorations or Friday Schedule, and it might be under your students. You might need to click on your student first in Friday Schedule, and then you will be able to browse as them. Okay.
Can parents propose or teach a course for Exploration Fridays?
Absolutely. How this works is if a parent wants to email me an idea for an Exploration Friday, I then propose that idea to faculty. Faculty love it because it helps them a little bit, right? They don't need to plan an exploration, but they need to help with the logistics of attendance, and let's find a room, and let's find a space, and how many students this will work for. So I match them, pair them up with faculty, and then they take it from there.
Ms. Jacobs, when I go into Friday Schedule, it just says exploration schedule, and there's nothing there.
Right. Allison, is it not the case that you have to go to the Friday Explorations platform, the FridayExplorations.org or whatever it is?
So the FridayExplorations.org is how the students got in originally, and now the student can click on Friday Schedule. If a parent logs into, and I could be wrong about this, but I caution a parent logging straight into FridayExplorations.org, because if you click on FridayExplorations.org and log in with Google, it's going to put you in as a student.
Right. I'll just say, when we had great success on our TV, as you mentioned, we did it through our students' accounts.
Thank you.
So.
That's what I figured it would be. So thank you, Margaret. Okay, exploration attendance. One of the things we're looking at this year is participation. It's all about being present. It's all about trying new things. And for upper schoolers especially, it's all about seeking your passions and being at school, right? It's a big piece of our week. Any full 5-day week, we have explorations. So we want to give students feedback. How are they doing on that? So we came up with a rubric, per se, of based on exploration attendance. So for Q1, which ends this Friday, so it will include this Friday, there have been 14 total explorations. So if your child has attended between 61% and 84% of those explorations, they're proficient in explorations. If they have been gone for some reason, or they just have decided not to be at school, which hasn't happened, they would be not proficient. And then anybody else would be superior and above. And we figured that out for each quarter this year of how many explorations. Q2 does not include Friends and Family Day or Grandparents' Day. Those are going to be sort of freebie explorations. And then Q3 and Q4, you'll see the exploration totals jump up because we actually have more explorations in semester 2. And what's exciting about this attendance is Mr. Hendrickson has been working his magic behind the scenes, and we have a little sneak peek to what's coming. This is not available yet, but pretty soon on your child's in Power School, you'll be able to get your rubric details, your exploration details. So when you click on Friday's schedule, you'll see an attendance link, and then we have the attendance now for Super Hawk. And Super Hawk, it shows, has been at explorations, 86%. It even shows the pathways, the different explorations Super Hawk has chosen for explorations. Are they choosing more arts pathways? Are they choosing more humanities pathways? In this case, it's less, right? They have explored all 4 pathways. We really encourage our middle schoolers to explore all 4 pathways. When students get to upper school, we find that they're really seeking out their passions. So a lot of times an upper school student will have a higher percentage in arts pathways, for example, or STEM, because that's where they're seeking out those classes. And then it just talks a little bit about attendance and engagement. The page actually continues to show where is the attendance happening. This person, maybe Hawk got picked up early one day for an appointment, so didn't attend one of the E4s. It shows, this page continues down, it shows every single session that person has attended. It's a pretty amazing piece of data. It's not quite available yet, but we're hoping the next few weeks that it will be available for all parents to see, all families.
There's another question, if you're ready.
I am.
Are they excused for family commitments, illnesses, etc., or does that count against their attendance?
So attendance is attendance. So just like attendance during the week, we count attendance on explorations. So I would be looking at, is a student leaving every single Friday for those family obligations or dental appointments, just like I would look at every single Monday, right? And an absence is an absence. Are there any others?
In last year's presentation on Friday Explorations, there was a discussion on helping students build portfolios, from their participation. Is there a feature in the new program that does that? Is that still a goal?
Thank you, Christina. We are still working on exploration portfolios. The portfolios this year, our 9th, 10th, and 11th graders will have exploration portfolios, and our 8th graders will start them in the spring, which is what we did last year to get them ready for high school. The portfolios themselves are housed outside of the exploration portal. They're actually in a Google Sites, which Mr. Russo from our Fab Lab, one of our Fab Lab specialists, helps the students build. And in fact, on October 24th, we're going to be working with all of the new 9th graders to build their portfolios, and then working with those 9th, 10th, and 11th grade advisors to help students continue building to their portfolios. We had to wait until after the first round, so students actually had more classes to add into their portfolios. The portfolio is really a way for the student to showcase all the work they do in explorations and to start seeing that pattern of passion. And so a portfolio could start being built more on the arts or on STEM classes or on even outside interests that the students can start bringing into explorations. Well, thank you again for inviting me to present, and please reach out with questions, email, and I will continue to keep you updated on this program because it's very exciting and it does change almost daily.
I said it previously, and sorry to interject, Kelly, but Allison works tirelessly to try to get the train on the tracks in the most appropriate way with a program that is continually involved. So I'm grateful for the work that you have done with our consultant. Our consultant literally is building an LMS behind the scenes that is few and far between. And I say this as somebody who has worked in a variety of independent schools. that if this individual gets this right, this LMS will literally be marketed across the nation for independent schools because of its adaptiveness, because of how it can be creative and how it's intuitive. And I'm not saying this to preach to the choir. I literally told this to his father, like, hey, we're the first school in. So hopefully we get a discount when this becomes an LMS. So Allycyn, thank you for using those resources. And thank you for being responsive to the feedback from our students and from our parents. And Kelly, thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, well, and thank you, Allycyn. I have one quick question, only because I have heard it from multiple parents, and that is for parents who say, my student is not getting into the explorations that they want. And I've heard this from multiple parents. And I heard you say that when you have a student come and say, there's no exploration for me, then you communicate and you hopefully create some more spots for them. But I have like kind of a two-parter. And one is, what would you like parents to know if they are hearing from their students that they're not getting into the explorations they want? And two, if they're not getting into the explorations they want, and you are having to communicate with them because they didn't get their first, second, or third choice, are they going to have, and I don't want to say guarantee, because I know you said you don't want to be having that happen time after time, but is there some reassurance to those students and or parents that their kids will get one of their choices at some point?
As you say, we can't guarantee, but it really goes back to communication. So it goes back to making sure students, first of all, are checking their emails. So parents encourage students to check their emails. It's one of the things Dr. Frez and I did for about 2 hours today is email individual students and advisors and talk to them about their choices and encourage them to let's get it done, right? So it's communication. It's knowing, it's on our end, knowing those students that we've had to reach out to before. There was a student, it's a great example today. There was a student who I didn't get into either the E1 or E2 of their choices. So I went back and worked with those teachers so we made sure that that student got one of their choices, because that wasn't fair to that student, right? They've put into this, and other people were getting both their first choices. So it's a lot of going back to being individual and communicating with the students, but definitely communication is the key. It's hard for us to have students come to us on a Thursday night really late or Friday morning and start the conversation. So it's best to start that conversation right away on sign up day. This round, we ran a little late because of our ISAS friends being in town, but sign up day was on the 1st. And by tomorrow at lunch, I expect we have all the students placed in the right explorations.
And if they do, I just want to say, if they do want to communicate about not feeling like they're getting their choices, is that communication with their advisor? Is that communication with you? What route are they supposed to take?
That's what I was going to ask.
They can take both. The advisor is there to help them, guide them through that initial process, and the advisor checks back with them to make sure they're signed up. So that's that first conversation. But I am happy with students walking through my door to have that conversation with me also.
And have the advisors been like fully prepped on that? So on the day of the sign up, if there's a thing like they're ready for a student to say, hey, there's nothing appropriate for me. What do I do? They know what to do.
Yeah, we hear it from advisors right away. And then we can start making those adjustments on numbers. It's a puzzle, definitely. And that puzzle piece that even our math teachers are struggling with is how many exact openings do we need for each grade level each time to give students enough choice and to make sure there's enough spots, because it's hard to guess, right? I mean, we could open up 10 different explorations with 5 spots each for 5th grade and they still all want the same one. So yeah, it's a tough puzzle, but we like our puzzles.
One more question. There was a concern regarding how students were not able to see the full description of the exploration. Are there full descriptions available when signing up this year with the new program?
The new program has full descriptions. You can see them now when they browse. The students during the first round was able to see them as they chose them, but now they can see them when they browse explorations. Mm-hmm.
Great. Thank you so much. As Ms. Jacobs said, if you have additional questions outside of this time, please feel free to email her. If we get any questions on our side, we'll certainly forward them to you, Allison.
Thanks, Kevin.
And if, ooh, we're going to be on time. Look at this. I just want to thank both you, Allison and James, for being here tonight. I want to thank all of the parents that showed up. And I would like to remind you that homecoming is Friday, but also that our next meeting is November 12th. And that will be an in-person meeting on campus right after drop-off. And I'm ready to wrap up if nobody has any other questions and get you guys out of here on time. Ah, yes. Allison, they would like your email address, so we'll put that in the chat. All right, I'm gonna close it. Thank you so much. Everybody have a great night, and we'll see you Friday at homecoming.